Okay, so I'm working on some creepy clown hair. You can see over here where I finished this tuft of hair. And I basically dropped down the opacity a whole bunch and just colored it in with that yellow, which is kind of transparent. Then I dropped down the brush size and cranked up the opacity. And I'm coming in and doing these little strokes like here. These are going to be highlights. That's not really the shading of the tufts, but there's going to be highlights. And this allows me to come in here and have some little wisps of hair, and I'm trying to cover up those black lines that I first um, did. So I'm just covering up those and coming out with some little wisps like this. And I know his hair's kind of everywhere, going everywhere. I thought of maybe just getting rid of the hair at first. And I said, well, I can always get rid of it later if I don't really like the overall look of it, but I might as well put it, keep it in now. And I could always come back and take that out. And I guess I've spent, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours on the digital drawing already. So I'm imagining it's going to take me about 5 or 6 hours to complete the drawing. So once again, no easy ways to get around doing your work. It's going to show. It's definitely going to show. Little wisps up here. As you can see with this one, I'm going to come back with some black and kind of help define those little pieces of hair that are sticking up. And I can still see my original sketch underneath the semi-transparent paint job I did with a larger blob brush. Really enjoying the blob brush. And I haven't broken out to different types of brushes yet. I think that's probably going to come when I'm doing the background with the larger trees and whatnot and trying to get some different textures going on. I think I'll be using some different types of brushes. But for the clown in general, his face and his head, I'm just using this one brush. And I haven't really downloaded a lot of brush packs, which, that's always something I can, look into doing later. Get more of a variety. And of course, I'm using a mouse to do this, which is more difficult than what some of you may be doing with a pad or something like that. I think the danger with using the pad is that you might use a program that is not one of those Adobe programs, and then when you get to the job, you're not going to have your pad and that particular program that you're used to using. The industry standard is Adobe, so you should be able to use the Adobe software because that's what you're going to need to use on the job. You're not going to be able to use your own devices and your own pick your own software. You're going to have to use what they have. And if it just a good thing to do every once in a while is to look at the job you want on Indeed or Monster.com and see what the requirements are. And if you're not getting what the requirements are, then that's something you need to take a look at. But don't spend years working on programs that aren't going to help you at all. All right, so I kind of want to do a little darker shade in there. So I'm just going to pull this down a little bit. And then I'll be able to come in here with a little darker shading. And I'm going with a little bit darker on this side on the left side is where the shadow is going to be mostly. So I want to play that up a bunch. And where the tufts of this crazy hair come out of his head. Right there. I always imagine what it would be like in the old days of the 70s and 80s, being someone like Frank Frazetta and being able to work like this at home, in your home studio. I guess it would take a certain amount of discipline not to screw around, but Frazetta worked really well at home and then just had to turn in his finished works, and they knew the quality was always there. So when he first started doing album covers, I had read that he would make in one day for an album or book cover what he had previously been making as a comic book illustrator in a year. He was making in a day what he had made in a year. So that's pretty wild. Okay, yeah, let's get some darks here. Let's start to define some of this stuff here. So I want to define these little clumps here. And especially this shading part here. We can do the dark right here at the root where the hair starts. And it'll be more here. And then a little bit less over here. Hoping to be able to get a kind of visceral expression out of someone when they take a look at this, that they're really kind of creeped out. That would be like really important to me, that if someone cringed a little bit when they looked at this, that would make me very happy. So maybe I could make this real cringy. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and keep doing this, and I will check back in a few minutes and show you when I'm done with this part. Thanks.